Having the problem 1360C, which is called similar pairs, and we have been given two numbers x and y, and we have been told that they are similar if they have the same parity, that is both of them are even or both of them are odd, or if the absolute difference between them is equal to 1. So for example, we have been given pairs like 2 and 6, so they are similar because both of them are even. 4 and 3 are similar because the absolute difference between them is 1, and 11 and 7 are also similar because both of them are odd. On the other hand, 1 and 4 are not similar because 1 here is odd and 4 here is even. So we have been given an array A, and the size of the array is n, which is an even number, and we have to check if there is a way to partition the array into pairs such that a pair contains similar elements. So for example, we have an array A here which contains the elements 11, 14, 16 and 12. So if we partition the array by keeping 11 and 12 in one pair and 14 and 16 in another, so we have similar elements in both the pairs, because 11 and 12 have the absolute difference between them as 1, and 14 and 16 here are even. So we have to if there is a way to partition the array successfully into pairs having similar elements, then we have to print yes, otherwise we have to print no. So we have been given in the input a number t, which denotes the number of test cases, and in the next two lines we have the size of the array, which is an even number, and then we have the elements of the array. So I'll tell you the approach now. So it is quite evident from the by reading the question that such an array is possible in only two conditions. The first case is when the number of odd elements and the number of even elements are both even. So for example, if we have an array of size 10 and the number of odd elements are 4 and the number of even elements is 6. So 4 and 6 here are even, so they are both divisible by 2. So there is a way to break the to form pairs of 2 of odd elements, and the same with even elements. And the second case is when the number of even elements is odd and the number of odd elements is also odd, and if there is at least one pair which have the absolute difference between them as 1. So for example, if we have an array which contains 10 numbers, and there are 5 numbers that are even and 5 numbers are odd. So we cannot make a pair out of 5 numbers, because we can only make a pair out of numbers if the number is even. So what we can do is we can take one element each out of the odd elements and even elements, and we can make a pair between them, which is only possible if the absolute difference between them is 1. So that would make the number of odd elements as 4 and the number of even elements as 4 as the same 4. So then 4 is divisible by 2, and then we can make pairs of even numbers and odd numbers, and the set that is left out has two elements that have difference between them as well. So now I'll show you the code. So we have scanned the number t, which is the number of test cases. Then we have the for loop that covers all the test cases, and then we have on the number n that we are scanning, which denotes the number of elements in the array. Then we have created an array called ARR, which has a size n. Then we will scan n elements in that array, and then we will sort the array. Okay, so then we will create a variable called day1e, which is basically a difference of 1 exists. So we will keep it false right now. It is a boolean type variable, and if we find in the array two elements that have the difference between them as 1, then we will change the value of day1e to true. So we have what we have done in this loop is that we have checked for two consecutive or adjacent elements, and we have checked that if the difference between them is 1 or not. And if we find such a pair, then we will change the value of d1e to true. Okay, so then we have initialized the variables num odd and num even. Num odd here denotes the number of odd elements in the array, and num even denotes the number of even elements in the array, and initially both of them are 0. So we will then for loop, we will then create a for loop that checks the number of even elements and number of odd elements. Whenever we find an element that is divisible by 2, we increment the value of num even. Else, if the number is odd, then we increase the value of num odd by 1. So at last, we have here the two conditions that we just discussed about. So the first condition is that if the number of even elements is divisible by 2, and the number of odd elements is also divisible by 2, then we are able to make pairs successfully, and we will print yes. Else, if the number of odd elements and the number of even elements both are odd and d1e is also true, so then in that case also we will print yes. Otherwise, for all the rest of all cases, we will print no. So this is our complete solution, and if you like the video, then please press the thumbs up button and subscribe the channel, and thanks for watching.